Hey there, my fellow Dalmatian Lover fans. I'm Dalmatian Lover, and we're finally back onto reading the book. I apologize that it was cut short last time. I didn't have permission to upload the full length of the pages that I read to, so I can only limit it to 15 minutes now. But I hope to get through the rest of chapter 2 today, and then maybe a little bit into chapter 3. So also, sorry for the delay. I've had a lot going on. Anyway, we're going to pick up where we left off, starting now. I thought you were objecting to all this marching, Henry said coldly. I don't mind them marching long as they're fighting at the end at it. What I hate is getting moved here and moved there with nothing been gained except sore feet and short rations. And how do you know you won't turn and run when the fight starts? Henry asked. Run? Cried Tom, jumping up. Course not. I'll do my share of fighting. And besides, who do you think you are to question me? The general or something? With that, he strode angrily away. Well, you needn't get so mad about it, Henry called after him. Then he stood up and slowly made his way back to the tent. Okay, we already got a bit of conflict towards the end of chapter 2. Oh, we don't need no conflict. Well, apparently we do. We need all the conflict in the world, Henry. Anyway, chapter 3, the first battle. The battle of all ages, apparently. The march continued the following day. By nightfall, the regiment reached a river. They set up 2 platoons bridges and crossed over to face a mysterious range of hills. Henry perched up at the hills, and he stood on the river bank. The Rebs must be hiding in those dark woods, just sitting and waiting for us, he told Tom. But once the weary troops set up camp, they had a peaceful night's sleep. The next morning, the regiment entered a deep, thick forest. They spent several days marching and camping, though it until one gray dawn when Jim kicked Henry awake. What in the thunder? Henry gasped as he jumped to his feet. We're moving, Henry! Hurry! And before he could completely awaken, Henry found himself with the other men in his regiment, not marching, but running breathlessly down a road in the woods. What the devil they in such a hurry for? Tom yelled out to his comrades. But no one had an answer for him, and not one dared stop running. Each man feared if he stopped and the mob of troops running behind him would surely trample him to death. By the time the sun appeared in the sky, other regiments were joining them. It's time, Henry told himself. The battle is about to begin, and I'm about to be tested. Even if I wanted to escape, it's impossible. Troops are surrounding me on all sides. It's like being in a moving box. It probably is right. It's a moving box. I didn't know that it was a moving box. Well, it's a moving box. Henry's head seemed to be fighting what his body was doing. I didn't want to be in this war, he argued. I didn't enlist on my own. The government is taking me out to be killed. But he knew this wasn't so. Run, Henry! Run for your life! He told himself, and along with his regiment, he slid down the bank of a stream and waddled across with his rifle held high above his head. As the troops scrambled up the bank on the other side, cannons began to boom. The men climbed up a hill, expecting to see a battle scene in the field below, but they found only small lines of their skirmishers. Those soldiers were usually sent out in front of the main army to clear the way for a major attack. Oh, so they're the sacrifice. All right, here you go. What are we supposed to do? Oh, I don't know. You're supposed to sacrifice yourself for us. What? The skirmishers were now firing into the trees to rout out the enemy soldiers. As the regiment began crossing the field, they came upon the body of a Confederate soldier. Most of the men walked around it with hardly a glance. But this was the first corpse. This was the first corpse, people. It was the first one Henry had ever seen, and he stopped and stared down at it. The man's opened eyes gazed up, unseeing, at the sky, and his brownish yellow beard blew in the wind. Henry's eyes traveled down to the man's shoes. The soles were worn so thin that one of the soldier's feet stuck out through a large hole. How sad, he thought. This man must have been so poor that he couldn't even afford to have his shoes fixed. All kinds of crazy ideas began to creep into Henry's head as he marched along with his regiment. Our generals don't know what they're doing. They're leading us into a trap. Soon we're gonna be surrounded by those rebels. I'd better warn my comrades that the generals are idiots. But as he looked around, Henry saw that his comrades were so fascinated with their advancing march, they were surely laugh at his warning. Dejected, he began to lag behind the other marchers. What, they laugh at you for giving them a warning? You know what? Yeah, probably. Sorry, Henry. Your ideas are just too funny. Seeing this, the lieutenant came up to him and tapped at his back with his sword. That's just bad. Get going. I don't care if I'm stabbing you in the back. Come on, keep moving. Move along, soldier, he ordered. Get up into your rank and stop lagging behind. Henry hurried to rejoin the line, hating the lieutenant and all of the officers in the company. Stupid fools, he muttered under his breath. A halt was called to allow the skirmishers to advance further into the woods. Okay, guys, time to go sacrifice yourself again. Go have fun. And during the halt, the troops began to build small hills in front of them, using stones, dirt, sticks, and anything that might stop or deflect a bullet. The hills caused some argument among men. I'll stand to do my fighting, Tom said with a sneer at the men digging trenches. Whenever suits you, snapped Jim. But look around at the veterans down the lines. They're digging up holes like dogs burying their bones. They must know something. Not too long afterward, however, the 304th was ordered forward, and the men had to leave their newly built hills behind. Aw, I'll always remember you. This happened once, then twice more. Finally, when they were ordered to halt and dig in for a third time, Henry's anger exploded. What did they march us here for, if we're gonna to change positions each time we feel safe? I can't stand this much longer. All we're doing is wearing out our legs for nothing. And Jim took out his rations and carefully made a sandwich of pork and crackers. Ew. That doesn't sound delicious at all. But then again, this is the war, so. After swallowing it easily, it's like a pill, he explained, I guess we have to explore this here country to keep the rebels from getting too close. Well, I'd rather do most anything than go trampling around the country doing no good and just training myself out, argued Henry. So would I, added Tom, as he came over to sit with his friends. It ain't right if anybody with any sense was a running this army. Oh, shut up, you little fool, roared Jim. Yeah, ain't had that uniform on for more than 6 months, and you're talking as if I came here to fight and not to walk, argued Tom. If I just wanted to walk, I could have walked round and round my barn at home. Jim threw up his hands in despair and began making himself another sandwich. As he ate, he returned to being his usual calm self. That afternoon, as the regiment continued their march with no obvious destination. Oh, good, we're just wandering. Yay. I'm sure that'll lead us to good things. Henry again began to doubt the general's sanity in leading his troops. Oh, he's leading us to our deaths. That's fun. The way that man's directing this battle, I might as well end my troubles and get killed right away. That's better than going on this way, not knowing when these rebels are gonna put a bullet in me. At that moment, rapid firing in the distance sent shock waves through the troops, flashes of enemy muskets and rifle fire. Oh boy, the conflict scattered the skirmishers. What do you mean we're scattering? I need you to sacrifice yourselves! Advancing ahead of them. Then an explosion from a Confederate cannon landed on the regiment in front of the 304th and sent bodies flying. Oh, well, there goes Tommy. Henry stared with his eyes and mouth frozen wide open. When he felt a hand on his arm, he swung around in panic. Oh, Tom, it's you, he gasped in relief. Then, seeing his friend's pale, terrified face, he asked, What happened, Tom? I've never seen you look like this before. Tom's lips were trembling as he answered, This is going to be my first and last battle, Henry. Something tells me I won't come out of it alive. Stop talking such craziness, Tom. No, listen. I want you to take these here things to my folks. With a sob, he handed Henry a thick yellow envelope. What the devil? But before Henry could say another word, Tom waved a weak goodbye and walked away. That's the end of chapter 3. So, we had a lot of conflict in that chapter. I did not expect Tom to just say, oh yeah, I'm not going to survive much longer, Henry. I'm so sorry. But, I came to fight this war. We're here at this war. I'm going to go battle and probably die. So please, take the stuff back to my family. I definitely feel for Henry, though. Henry seems like he has the right mindscape, but at the same time, he's struggling a lot with his generals and fellow party members. But that really opened the conflict between the soldiers, like how some soldiers think, oh yeah, this war is for the betterment of the people, and others are kind of questioning just like, where are we going? What are we doing? Why are we out here? Like, yeah, it definitely doesn't make sense. I understand that fully. But anyway, that's where we're heading off today. Very fun reading. I know that it's not as long as the other ones, but you know what? We're running out of time. So I hope that you all enjoyed this reading. If you would like to hear more, please let me know. If you have a specific book you'd like to hear next time, please let me know in the comments below. Until next time, goodbye.